Can you hear me now? Oh my gosh, sorry about that. Can you hear me now? Let me know. Good. Oh man, I've been so busy this morning and this week and everything. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Oh my gosh, my apologies. Anyways, yeah, sorry. I literally forgot to hook up the microphone like a idiot. Yeah. All right. I'm glad that you guys can hear me now. See, I should have done like remember, was it the Verizon commercials? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? I should have done a sound check beforehand. My apologies, everybody. Thank you so much for letting me know. Bruh. Anyways, see, look, that's a good thing that, again, during these live streams, we take a few minutes, to make sure everybody can get in on time and all that good stuff. So that way, we can, take care of any hiccups, such as the audio right now. So again, thank you so much, guys. I appreciate that. By the way, let me know if the video's jittering a little bit for whatever reason. This video that I have. Okay, so so let's just get back into it, guys. All right, guys. Again, sorry for the mute. Sorry for the beginning, the first few minutes of the show. Anyways, so in today's video, in today's live stream, we're going to be talking about cost of living. We're going to be talking about, again, affordability out here in Mexico, in Mérida, but in Mexico in general, and so on and so forth. And in today's video, we're going to be walking around El Mercado de Galvez, also known as Mercado San Benito, also known as Mérida's Central Market. Okay, so there's a video that I published a while ago. That's David. Some of you guys know David. Shout out to him. And he's going to be joining us today as we walk around El Mercado. All right, so you guys can see exactly how people live out here. All right, how they can afford to live out here. Remember, there's many people that live in this city, in this country, of all kinds of incomes. Every single city in Mexico has a main giant market like this. Big cities or normal cities, like Mérida and other cities out there. Again, Mexico City, Guadalajara. I can go on and on. Puebla. There's a bunch of places all over the place. Mazatlan, you name it, right? Oaxaca. They have multiple markets. There's usually one big market that's in the middle of the city, main centralized market that has everything, and then there's markets, throughout the areas. There are markets in other, parts of the city, and so on and so forth. And each market's a little different. Some specialize in certain things, and so on and so forth. So, long story short, the reason we're taking a tour of the market today is because we're talking about, again, affordability. We're talking about cost of living, and so this is one of the ways in which many Mexicans, many locals, even you guys, can keep cost down, can keep your affordability, affordable, can keep your budget low, and so on and so forth. Because, a lot of people always ask me, how much I still live on out here, and I tell you guys it varies. It's around $1,500 a month. Again, depends on what I make. Recently it's been a little slow around here. It's been a little slow all over the place, right? I'm sure in the US as well. But anyways, it's been a little slow around the YouTubes, and so because of that, well, we've had to keep cost low because there are certain fixed costs that are not going to change, such as rent, but there's a lot of other costs that we can control, all right, such as food cost, such as electricity, and so on and so forth. So we're going to be talking about all that. We're going to be talking about, again, whether it's affordable or not. Some of you guys, know my story, my full story, my history. Some of you guys don't. We're going to get into all that, all right? So, So, anyways, welcome, everybody. So sorry about the audio at the beginning of the show. But glad to have you guys all on board. So, all right, guys. Some of you guys know my full story. Some of you guys don't know my complete story. But long story short, I moved out here to Mexico. All right, hold on one second. Let me get rid of this real quick. Hold on. Okay. All right. Anyway, so I moved out here to Mexico 7.5 years ago. Okay. So as of right now, as of, the end of the year, I have been out here 7.5 years. And when I first moved out here okay? 7.5 years ago, things were completely different. Things were a lot more affordable. I had a different budget. I came out here, again, I only had $1,500 left to my name. After I bought my plane ticket and got my first month Airbnb, that's how much I had left over, and I had to make it work. And for the first few years, I wasn't making much. I was making exactly what many Mexicans make. And as the years have gone on, well, you know, my costs have gone up, obviously. You know, they've gone up for many reasons, you know, not just inflation, but they've also gone up because of other things, all right? Such as, you know, my cost of living has gone up because my standard of living has gone up as well. By the way, guys, let me know if the video's a little too jittery, all right? Because like I was trying to explain earlier, I don't know if I did with the microphone or microphone on or off, the fact that, yeah, the video file is a little messed up. All right, so I just want to make sure, you know, it's not too jittery or too distracting in the background. You know, if it is, let me know so I can fix it and get another video up. So anyways, long story short, at the end of the day, you know, the reality is Mexico still affordable? You know, the reality is that yes, it is. Again, depends on the individual. Now, if it's still, again, you know, look, if you ask a typical Mexican, you know, a Mexican of lower income or lower middle class income, of course, you know, just like you in the USA are struggling, you know, right now, well, the people out here are also struggling, okay? Again, it's just because of a worldwide inflation. You know, there's a lot of things going on at the moment, all right? And so that obviously affects, you know, all parts of the world. But if you're coming out here, all right, and again, you have a pension, you know, a social security check, you know, you have the ability to make money online. Again, for example, I make money on YouTube. I could be making a lot more money if I were to just teach English online. If I were to teach English online, I would be making a lot more money, and I would have probably a lot less headaches when it comes to what I do for a living. Because again, I'm running a business here, like it or not, and you know, there's a lot of work that is involved in what I do. I love what I do, obviously. That's why I keep doing it, and I'd rather do this, even though I might earn a lot less, than do something where I can earn more. And again, teaching English, think about it. If you're teaching English and you're getting paid around $10 to $12 an hour, give or take, or more, I'm just talking about entry level at $10 or $12 an hour. You know, $10 to $10 an hour translates, you know, to a lot of money out here. All right. So again, just doing rough math, all right, 10 times 40 hours, that's $400, all right? 400 times 4, all right, 4 weeks, right? That's $1,600, all right? So right off the bat, you know, you could be very easily, all right, just having a very remedial entry-level job or just a small social security check or pension, that should be enough to cover your bills. All right. And, you know, what I'm going to be doing going forward. All right. It's because the thing is, it's like, you know, some of you guys, you know, have been following me for a long time. Some of you guys are new to the channel. I have, you know, all kinds of viewers that have joined the channel at different stages of the channel growth. And so with that being said, back when I first moved out here and I was on a super tighter budget and things were just very different because I had just moved here, I made different videos than the ones that I make these days. And so I think it's time, you know, with all the things that are going on in the world, that are going on in your own country, and most of you guys are looking to escape, and you find that each and every day it's getting more and more difficult. Well, I'm here to show you how you can do it, how I did it, all right, how it can still be done, all right? It's not going to be easy, but it can be done. Again, you guys already know in the past few weeks or months, you know, I've been making videos on topics like residency and so on and so forth. So we're going to continue going forward. Again, not just to finish the year, but going forward into next year. All right, we're going to be focusing a lot more on that. All right, to show you guys exactly how you guys can do it. It's a simple. Okay, again, it's not going to be. It's pretty simple, but it's difficult. All right, just like anything else in life. All right, but long story short, of course it's still affordable, you know, because like, for example, you can still find like apartments or even rooms to rent out here for $150, $250, give or take, all right? So if you are right now in a situation where you're probably living in your car, or you're living in a room with roommates, or you're, whatever, you're in a situation where you're paying $1,000 in rent or more, And then all of a sudden now here you can lower your rent by like 5 times. Again, you're paying, or you know, by a lot more, because you can pay, you know, anywhere from like $150 to $250 for a small apartment or a small room or whatever it is. Well, then right off the bat, you know what I mean? Again, your cost of living has gone lower, so you don't have to make as much money, and therefore, you know, you have, you know, a lot more to spend. All right, and so, you know, think about it. If you're making $1,600 a month, in fact, what we're gonna do real quick, all right. Now these numbers are not updated yet because I have yet to make a video, you know, on. Hold on a second. Give me 1 second. Let me just switch it over real quick. All right. Yeah, but anyways. All right. So. All right. Let me see if I can move this a little bit so you guys can see a little bit better. A second. No. Hold on. All right. So these are older numbers. All right. There you go. Okay. All right, just so you guys can see the numbers, all right? So, again, these are not updated, all right? This is from an older video that I did on cost of living. All right, real quick before I get into it, all right? I see Mission Slow, you know, with a $2 super chat, muchas gracias. Thank you very much. Everything is appreciated these days. Thank you. Thank you. All right, hold on a second. Let me get got a bunch of things here. Oh, my God, I got so much going on today here on my screens. All right, anyways, he goes, I need advice. Oh no, wait, he goes, yeah, I need to barter trade to advance myself. Advice? Well, what do you mean? I'm not quite sure what you mean. Can you elaborate a little bit? I see here you have a few more comments that says there are a few videos claiming Mexico will become the winner in the 21st century. I totally agree. I've talked about it as well on the channel. I'm going to talk more about that too in future videos. Music needs to be slightly quieter. Okay, yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, let me turn down the music. I can't really hear it on my end too much. In fact, let me here, let's turn off the music altogether. All right, anyways, all right. But anyways, I don't know what you mean on you need to trade to advance myself, and I don't know what please elaborate a little bit more, because I don't know what you mean. Oh, for a specific reason, I am not allowed to earn money, so I have to earn other ways. Well, look, the reality is that, you know, unfortunately, we live in a capitalist society, and so you need to make money, you know, in order to pay for, like, just a few things, you know, just these things that I have on screen there. Unfortunately, you cannot barter your way to pay rent, to pay the internet, to pay a cell phone or anything like that. So, yeah, I don't know what to tell you, man. You know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, hopefully the information that we're going to be talking about today will help you, guide you, help you find a solution or whatever. But, you know, at the moment, I'm sorry, I'm not quite, you know. All right, let's see. Okay. If you receive Social Security and homeless, moving to Mexico makes sense. Yeah, I mean, so for a lot of people, you know, they're in that situation, unfortunately, you know what I mean? So I totally get it. Again, it does not make sense for everybody. It's not something that, you know, everyone might be interested in doing. But I understand that these days people are more desperate than ever in order to find, you know, a solution to their problem, you know, which is, you know, that they cannot sustain life. They cannot sustain, you know, the cost of living or whatever it is, you know, where they're at. So anyways, okay, so let's just get into the cost of living real quick. So as you guys can see, you know, in the cost of living, again, this hasn't been that updated, but it hasn't changed that much, all right? Now, this is something that I did for a video a long time ago when this is probably over a year ago now, when the dollar, okay, was losing strength and the peso was getting stronger. So as you guys can see all the way at the top, it says USD 16 to 1. All right, and then USD 20 to 1. So right now we're at 18 to 1. All right, we're basically right in the middle. All right, so you guys can just kind of figure that out. Now, these were my expenses. All right, like 2 years ago. All right, just so you can get an idea. Now my expenses have gone up. All right, so you know, obviously, you know, it's, you know, because of for example, the new place where I live in right now, the rent is higher. So my rent is double what you're seeing there. But when it comes to other costs, some have gone up, some have gone down. So when it comes to like the power bill, you know what I mean? The power bill has basically been staying the same. All right. You know what? Yeah, these numbers are pretty accurate to my numbers these days. All right. And in a different, just a lot, just add like another $350 to it. All right. But anyways, you guys can see there what your cost could be. Okay. So for example, when it comes to rent, all right, $300 rent, 6,000 peso rent. I was doing some quick research, the other day, yesterday actually to be exact. And I still found that there are places out there that you can find. Again, we're going to do more videos going deeper into all that. But again, there are plenty of places out there that are in that $300 range still available. All right. Now, again, the reality is that it's all going to just depend on your situation out there. It's really just going to depend on what you're looking at. So, for example, I live in a 3-bedroom house, okay, with 2.5 bathrooms, big yard. It's a nice, comfortable house, with all the bells and whistles, brand new built structure, brand new house, all right? I'm renting this house, right? And I only pay 12,000 pesos, which is $600. Again, with the exchange rate at the moment, I pay $650. So I pay $650 for a 3-bedroom home. Now, everyone's different out there. You might not need a 3-bedroom home. So you can definitely get things, for a lot more affordable if you're only looking for a 1-bedroom home or an apartment. All right. So, and obviously all your other costs are going to go down. All right. So as you guys can see, the internet there, that is the minimum internet that you're probably going to be paying. So it's somewhere around $30 to $50. All right. So right now I pay $55 for internet because I got the Starlink. All right. So I decided to, upgrade my internet and I got to pay a little bit more. Cell phones. You guys can see there, cell phones, for me and Christian. All right. Basically every month is around $15, $20, no more than that. All right. For cell phone. When it comes to for water bill, again, the water bill, all right, it's actually, the reason I put $550 there is because I get the big, containers of water, so I have them deliver them to me. So, all my drinking water, the big jugs of water that, fresh water that everybody drinks out here, they're bringing it out to the house, all right, plus my regular water bill, the water bill for the house, meaning, what I used to take a shower, what I used to wash the dishes, things like that, to what I used to water the plants. So that's around $30 a month. All right. Propane, again, that depends. You know what I mean? So I spend around $10 a month. All right. Because now, I can actually measure my propane, a little bit more. So I spend around $10 a month, give or take, on propane. All right. Transport. Again, that differs. That's going to depend on you, whether you have a car, whether you're going to be walking a lot, whether you're going to be using the train, the bus, the Uber. All right. And the power bill, that's also going to depend a lot on where you live. So if you're living in, Puebla, Mexico City, Guadalajara, those areas, you're probably going to be spending a lot less on power and more on gas. And out here in the Yucatan, or if you're in Monterrey, or if you're in Tijuana, certain places that might get hot, or maybe not Tijuana, but other places that get a little hot out there, then you're going to be spending more on the power bill. All right. And then the big kicker is food. That's the reality of it. For, on average, if you are, costing out every single thing, everything from, the laundry detergent to the soap, to the garbage bags, to the food that you buy at the store, that you also when you go eat out at the taco stand or at a restaurant, for us, it averages around $500 or $600 a month. When I first moved out here, I was living on around, $5 a day, maybe $10 a day, give or take. But I would say like around $5 a day. This is 7 years ago. And, 5 times 30, all right, that's like $150. So, plus a few other things here. Let's say I was spending $250. So, again, it depends on what you're buying and who, and again, if you're alone, if you're with a partner, so on and so forth. Same thing. Again, we have a dog. Dog costs money. Not so much. Pet expenses out here are a lot less. All right. So thank God for that. I just bought a big, monster bag of kibbles and bits for Gizmo, and that cost me $30. And that lasts for months. I also make food for Gizmo. All right. So so things like that. So by the way, we're going to be doing more food content going forward. I got some announcement to make later on, but we're going to be doing food content, you know, going forward and a bunch of other stuff. So, but not on this channel, on my cooking channel, all right? But I just wanted to, you know, throw that out there real quick, all right? But look, long story short, you know, as you guys can see right there where the totals are, look at how much things can change just with the exchange rate. So that's another thing that a lot of people have to take into consideration. So if it's at 20 to 1, my, you know, expenses were like around $1,000. But if it drops to like 16 to 1, my expenses all of a sudden now are, you know, 25% more, give or take. All right. Now it's not at 16 to 1 right now. It's at 18 to 1. So, you know, what would be half of 236, you know? So give or take. So you got to take all that into consideration. Plus all this other stuff that I put right there. Again, fun activities. You need to have savings, you know, for emergencies, right? And for medical, whatever, anything, right? Your personal habits. Some of you guys like to smoke. Some of you guys like to drink. Some of you guys like whatever. Dating, you know, depending, you know, again, I go on dates with my wife, you know what I mean? I got to take that into consideration. So that's, you know, dating, going out, whatever. You know, medical. You know, some of us have medical conditions, you know, where you have to, you know, buy medicine. I don't have a medical condition, but I like to buy supplements, you know, take my vitamins. That costs extra money. And for some of you guys that don't have your visa situation set up, you got to have money for your visa runs. You got to save money for the visa runs. You got to save money for your immigration later on, and so on and so forth. So, you know, there's a lot of expenses out there, but at the end of the day, they're pretty reasonable. You got to really understand that, you know, there's a lot of Mexicans out there that live, okay, on around $500 a month, you know, give or take. So, in fact, here, look, I'll show you something real quick, something that we did recently, so you guys can get a better idea as well. Because I know everybody, oh man, what happened? Why is this all out of order? 1 second. Oh, there it is. Okay. So here, I'm going to show you this real quick. All right. So, see, in this video, you know, I'm showing you, again, you know, we're out here helping communities and so on and so forth. This is a very recent video that we did. But, you know, there's Mexicans out there that live in not the best conditions. Okay, so in the USA, you know, think about it. You know, there are people living in these conditions, and they get, you know, EBT cards. You know, they get government check. You know, they're earning like $1,000 something a month. All right, and they live in conditions like this. All right, so these people, you know, they're making a lot less than $500 a month. You know, they're making like maybe a couple $100s a month. A couple $100s a month. So again, this is, you know, you got to keep this in mind. You are not going to be living like this. All right, unless you got nothing, literally not a penny to your name and no work, no nothing, no whatever. But no one's going to be living like this. In the USA, many people are very close to living like this. All right, and yeah, you know what I mean. It's just a sad reality of it. Okay, and so like just you got to put these things into perspective. All right, and that's the thing. You know what I mean. Like a lot of people, you know, if you're looking into, you know, living out here on $1,500 a month or on $1,000 a month, you're going to be living very well. You're not going to be living like that. You're going to be living very, very well. Things are going to be very different for you. And that's just the reality of it, all right? So, you know, you got to keep all that into mind, you know? It's not, you know? So there's a lot of things, you know, there's a lot of things you got to take into place, all right? I mean, you got to take into consideration. So, you guys have seen my videos, and you guys have seen how I lived, you know, when, here, I'll show you. I got my videos here so I can show you. I forgot, I got tons of, all right, here, in fact, 1 second. So let's just get into, let me show you that one. So you guys can see what I lived on, you know, when I was way under $1,000 a month, all right? So, let me see, where's my, man, I guess I got so many videos here. My apologies. Here, 1 second, guys. Anyways, let me read some comments. It says, Humberto Garcia says, I was living in Cauquel and paid $100 a month unfurnished, but I was within walking distance of the Mercado. Man, I miss it. I will be going back to Merida soon. Oh, that's awesome. That's amazing. All right, there we go. So, all right, so some of you guys have seen this video. Okay, so that was my first Airbnb, you know, when I first moved out here. All right, You guys have seen that before. But I'm going to show you. Okay, there we go. So you're about to see the place that I moved into. And so this place, just FYI, all right? The place you're about to see right now, that place I was paying 3,500 pesos for, all right? So 3,500 pesos, all right? So let's say it's, 350 divided by... so I was paying like 175, okay? So I was paying $175 7 years ago here. And by the way, I still know the person, because by the way, there's somebody lives there now. I know the person that lives there now, and I was recently talking to them. They're still paying the same rent. Okay, so $200, all right? This is what you can get today. Again, it's very different. You got to do your work, your research. There's a lot of things involved here. But just, this is what $200 get you today. All right. So again, Humberto was living for $100. All right. So anyways, this is what you can get for $200. All right. So it's a townhome. Look at this. I got my own entrance, my own front yard there. It's 2 stories. One story when you move in, another when you move out. Bush. No, anyways. No. So look, that's the house. That's the house. All right. And I had a kitchen. You're gonna see it. You're gonna see the place. I'll give you a tour real quick. And I had a big backyard, and there was other townhomes on that property. So I had neighbors. We were friendly. We were nice. But long story short, look at that. You know what I mean? So that's what you can get for $200. Come on. And you know how many videos I filmed there? Oh, sorry, wrong button. Oh no, what did I do? Ay. Man, sorry. There you go. Sorry, I pushed the wrong button. But just wanted to show you so you can see all the space. You can see all the room that I had there. All right. And that's where I lived for many years until I eventually moved to the other house. But that's what I was paying for around, like around the $200, and that's still the going rate for that. So, hold on a second. Let me see if I can find my other house that I lived in. No, I don't know where it is right now. I don't have it here. All right, whatever. But anyways, all right. I think you guys can get an idea of what's still available, all right? Out there. All right? So, hold on a second. So, let me see. When I went to Mexico, Steve says, when I went to Mexico, I noticed many people have a side hustle. Correct. A lot of people have side hustles. A lot of people work in the informal business. You guys can, you can see it right there. All the people with, selling stuff on the street, selling stuff on Facebook, and so on and so forth. Oh, thank you, Moondog. Shout out to you. Awesome. So, speaking of transportation, what happened to your bike? I missed it. Oh, I still got my bike. I just haven't made any bike videos recently, but I still have it. It's still around. So long story short, guys, it's still extremely affordable. It's just going to depend on you, and they depend on many situations. So, in recent months, all right, here, let me get another video going. So in recent months, I've been here. In recent months, I've been getting a lot of, messages from you guys. A lot of comments, messages, and so on and so forth. Asking me, to, make more videos. Talking about, the affordability. Talking about how to live out here on a certain budget, and so on and so forth. So, it made me think and realize. I was like thinking about it. Like, wait a minute, I thought that I was already doing that. But that's the thing. It's just like I've been making videos, and I've been on YouTube for so long, and I've been out here for so long already that I forget. I forget that I have so many people that, have been watching me recently, and maybe they haven't seen any of these videos. So look, what I'm going to be focusing on, going forward. All right. Of course, we're still going to be doing the videos that we do. All right. Don't freak out. OK, we're still going to be doing the videos that we do here. But I think I'm going to start. Not I think, I know, I am. This is the plan, all right? The plan is that I'm going to show you guys exactly how I did it and how you can still do it, all right? And if I got to hold your hand, then I got to give you a step-by-step guide. We're going to do it. We're going to do it, okay? And you guys know I've done it before, but those videos, like I said, look, I was making this video recently. All right. Because again, I'm just trying to, do different things for the channel and stuff like that. Every time I go way too different, YouTube or you guys don't like it, whatever, all right? But it doesn't matter. At least I got this nice stock footage, right, for you guys to watch during the live streams. But look, regardless, the point is that, you guys have been telling me. You guys, again, I listen to you guys. I read the comments. I talk to you guys, and so on and so forth. And but anyways, as I was doing this video and I was looking through all my old footage, I realized that, man, it's been a while since I used to, I've been talking about these topics. Again, it's like, it's been so long that I've been out here and I'm always doing different things on the channel. And so, look, long story short, we're going to be moving forward in that direction, all right, going from, today going forward. So that's what we started off with, cost of living and so on and so forth. Now, again, you got to remember this year, we only have a few more live streams left. It's already the end of the year. I cannot believe we're at the end of 2025. So you got to remember, we only got a few weeks left, all right? So we only got a few more live streams to go, all right? But starting January 2026 and going forward, okay, not only are we going to be going back to basics, and you know me, I'm hold your hand, give you the blueprint. We're going to do it, all right? We're going to do it, all right? And I'm going to show you exactly how to, how it's done and how you can still do it, right now. So not only are we going to do that, but we're going to do other things. We're going to do things that no other channel's doing, and you're going to see, all right? It's going to go beyond just giving you a guide. All right. And, hopefully you guys will find it useful and helpful, because I know there's so many of you guys out there that have been, just asking me for more in-depth information on certain topics. And, long story short, the best way to do it is to do it myself and do it with you guys. And that's what we're going to be doing. So again, I'm being very vague on purpose because it's a little bit of a surprise. All right. I want to leave you guys on the edge of your seat, but just expect a lot, okay? Just, expect a lot, especially 2026 going forward. Not just this channel, okay, but the other channels, okay? We're going to be doing a lot of cooking next year. We're going to mix it all together. I live, there's a lot of food in abundance out here, a lot of awesomeness out here. So you're going to see how we're going to mix it all together. And, I'm so excited to bring it to you guys. I'm literally I can't wait to the end of the, till this year comes to an end already. I'm kind of, starting to go on vacation mode because I'm going to take a break during December. That's another programming note I want to let you guys know real quick before I move on to the next thing here. I'm going to be taking a little bit of a break during December, meaning you're probably not going to be seeing as many videos and uploads this month as you saw last month and you normally see. I'm still going to be around. You're going to still expect videos on Sunday, things like that. But, I do need to take a little bit of a break. I got to breathe, right, at the end of the day. And I know I want to hit the ground running starting January with a lot of things. So you're going to see, all right? So long story short, just kind of expect, December to be, a little more chill. And then starting January 1st, we're going to hit the ground running, all right? So anyways, oh man, how do you say your name? Asi Sensei. Asi Sensei. All right, Asi Sensei says, love the videos, informative. I'd appreciate more videos on affordable housing, places to rent. Keep it up. Oh, awesome. Okay, so look, on affordable housing. Okay, we're gonna be doing affordable housing, but just don't expect this from me. Okay, because look, the reality is that it takes a lot to create these videos, okay? This is a lot of work involved, okay? It's just the reality of it, right? And, me going out there and looking at rentals and showing you rentals and stuff like that, man, that takes so much time and energy, all right? That at the end of the day, I've done it before. I show you a rental and it's, by the time you guys are calling or I put the video up, it's already rented out. So that's why I really don't do rentals. I really just don't focus on rentals. I've done videos in the past where I show you guys exactly how to do rentals. In fact, look, we'll do a quick thing right now, okay? Just a quick experiment, all right? So you guys can see what I'm talking about, okay? So, again, my website, okay? We got my website right there, all right? Okay, we got my website right there, okay? So, again, please, go visit my website. It is it's full of free resources, okay? Especially if you're on a budget, all right? Free. When you're on a budget, that's the best, right? Okay, so anyways, moving to Mexico, general information, right at the top. We're going to click there, all right? So that's what I'm saying. I forget. I used to go through this all the time, but I've been abandoning it. Not abandoning it. It's just that I've been making videos on other things, and I just forget. I forget that not everybody's been around the whole time. Okay, but anyways, long story short, right here, I got a video telling you how to do it already. All right. All right. I see the video's frozen, so we're gonna wait a second. All right, we'll wait for everything to. All right. Sorry about that. I think the internet froze real quick. All right, so right there on my website, okay, right there, I did this the other day just to make sure we're on the same page. So anyways, real quick, all right, you got a video right there, all right, that I did a few years ago that's going to tell you exactly, all right, how to do it. I'll update that going forward, all right, but look, long story short, we're going to just go through it real quick, all right? So just click on the first one. All these links right there, Viva Anuncios, Inmuebles, whatever, those are all like the rent.com or Zillow or whatever, all right, of Mexico and Latin America. But anyways, we're just going to click on Viva Anuncios real quick, all right? Now, departamento means apartment, okay? So I'm just going to just leave it at department, okay? We're on a budget, okay? We're just going to look at apartments, okay? And just look, I'm not even going to put a city. I'm not putting nothing, all right? I'm just putting search for apartments, okay? And then real quick, again, you got to learn a little Spanish. You know, by the way, some of these websites can auto-translate, okay? You got to get a little plug-in for your browser, and they can auto-translate yada, 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 all right? And some of these have like English or whatever. You got to do that, whatever, okay? I'm just doing it quick, all right? Just so you guys can get an idea of what to expect going forward, all right? Not just with this, I mean, with all kinds of stuff. You're going to see. So anyways, right there, you know, it's just random. I just put, you know, apartments, okay? So, but we're going to do here precio. Precio means price, all right? Pesos, all right? And we're going to put, you know, $100. I mean, sorry, 100 pesos here. You know, we got to have a minimum because, you know, people spam with the one. Okay, and then 5,000 pesos, all right? 5,000 pesos, that's $250. All right? Oh, did I do it? No, I didn't do it. I didn't save it. Okay? And then you just save. Oh my God, man, why am I? It's like never go full retard. I went full retard. Okay. So you got there 100, 5,000. Ver resultados. I mean, search, right? And look, right off the bat. Okay, look, we're going to order, all right? So, menor precio, you know, lowest price, all right? So, again, we're going to skip some of these, all right? But look, again, Puerto Vallarta, you can rent a room for 300 freaking pesos, all right? That might be 300 pesos a night or something, but let's just see if we can move it. All right, let's just get to 1,000, all right? So, some of these are vacation rentals, right? There you go. Look at this. All right, this one is renting. I don't know what part of Mexico this is, but anyways, 1,000 pesos. All right, for a room that's furnished. All right, that's $50. All right, you know, again, you can see prices here. Right, so all right, we're gonna see if we can. Let me see if we can. Let's put 1,000 pesos. All right, that's $50. All right, let's do that at least, and let's just. Relevance. All right, there. Just do relevant. All right, yeah, to make it easier. But anyways, look at this. Okay, in Obregon or whatever, 3,300. All right, look, forget it. Look. This is a little bit more. All right, look at here, Mérida, Yucatan. All right, let's click on this real quick. All right, Mérida, Yucatan. No, that's not what I wanted to see. There we go. Okay, look at that. Look what you can get for $200. All right, $200, $225. All right, you get. This, all right? In Mérida, remember, Mérida is so expensive. It's so difficult. It's so what? Look, you can still get this for $200, all right? So again, the thing is, it's like, you know, for some of you guys, this is amazing. This is wonderful. This is, wow, Jose, thank you so much for showing me. Other people are like, oh my God, I would never be caught living dead in there. Again, this is why I show, you know, $1 million homes, and I also show, you know, what people live out here. You know, you're like, you know, like those people that were living. Anyways, so look, okay, and it's furnished. It's furnished. You know, same as the room that the townhouse that I rented was also furnished. You know, Some of you guys don't have any furnishings, especially if you're coming out here in a super tight budget. But anyways, just so you can get a super quick idea. All right. Look, another one in Merida. Oh, I guess this thing knows where I am. I don't know. Anyways, look, there's another one in Merida. Look at this. Now, this one's not furnished. And the pictures are horrible. But whatever. You know, it's not bad. Not bad. You know, it is what it is. You know, it's a department. An apartment. So anyways, guys, you know, that's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you got to do your research. You got to do your work. You know, we'll go into all that later on, you know, in other videos in the future, yada, yada, yada. All right. So just expect, you know, a lot of, anyways. All right. So we got Renato Diaz says, moving to Merida soon, found a 3-bed, 3-bath with pool and backyard and in Norte, 2 blocks west of the Galerías for $600 a month. Holy guacamole. Look at that. Man, you're paying less than me. You're paying what I'm paying. You know, it's probably like $650 a month, you know, but whatever, you know, don't matter. That's awesome, man. That's amazing. Hold on. We got to get there you go. Wow. No, that's an amazing deal, bro. Renato Diaz, congratulations, man. That is an amazing deal. Now, again, you're in the Norte. You know, for me personally, me and my wife, remember, I don't have a car. I'd like to walk a lot, bike a lot. I like to be close to El Centro, you know, right here where you're looking at right now. So for me and my wife, you know, we're right next to El Centro. We're in El Centro. We're literally in El Centro, all right? But we're in El Centro, and, you know, we're paying what we're paying, and, you know, we were shocked. Because again, you know, we thought it was low. You know, we thought we were getting a deal. We knew we were getting a deal. It's funny because when we were looking for rentals, you know, up north, you know, there were some similar houses. You know, you're probably going to move into a house like I'm living in right now. And they were going for like $18,000. We know, which is like around $900. You know, give or take. We're still affordable. Still compared to back home. So, anyways, that's awesome, man. That is wow, man. You're going to get another one here, man. Everybody out in the audience, let's give a big shout out to Renato Diaz, man. What a deal. So, yeah, man. You can still get them out there. You know, there are tons of deals out there. The thing is, you got to dig and you got to find them. You know, and, you know, that's the thing, too. You know, there are, as you guys see when I do house tours with Jose Novello, you know, there are all kinds of prices out here. You know, there are homes out here going for $1 million US. And there are also homes out here going for $50,000. You know, I mean, you know, there's everything and anything in between. You know, there's all kinds of stuff. So, but when it comes to like at least rentals, you know what I mean? Like when it comes to rentals, there's a lot more rentals and there's a lot more, variety out there. You know, there's a lot more to, you know, to find. Anyways, whatever. Anyways, Huey says, take us to houses from everything from minimum to minimum max. Show us that. Yeah. So anyways. Huey. So look, a lot of times, like, okay, not a lot of times, every single time that we do house tours, just FYI, guys, all right? I have nothing to do with the houses, all right? And the houses that are shown, you know, a lot of times, you know, a good majority of the time, you know, these are houses that, how do I say this? Is like, it's not, you know, they're hand-picked, all right? But again, all the prices on these homes are set by the, how do I say this? By the owners. All right. They're not set by the realtor or anything like that. But man, I lost my train of thought. What was I going to say? But yeah, right now. Okay. So for example, look, I don't want to mention names. I don't want to talk anything out there. But look, the reality is that, you know, right now, you know what I mean? A lot of people think that they can just come out here and buy a piece of land and start building. And it's only going to cost them a few bucks. That's not the true reality of it. Again, I've been here a long time. You don't think I would have done that by now? You know, the thing is that, you know, there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of, I don't want to say scams out there, but there's a lot of things that you got to be worried about or you got to do your research on. So again, for some of you guys have been following me a very long time. You know, a long time ago, I used to talk about Ejido land and all this other stuff, right? But after much research and after, you know, again, talking to my real estate lawyer, your real estate lawyer, Jose Novello, and going more in depth on this and doing my own research and looking into it and yada, yada, yada. Look, I've realized that the last thing you want to do is buy Ejido land, especially if you're not from here. It's already a major Major, 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 major. Did I say major? Major risk buying Ejido land as a local. So imagine if you're not even from here. All right. So that's number one. You know what I mean? Number two, getting a piece of land for $20,000. I mean, where? And it's not just where. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many things involved. All right. Like many of you guys, this is the reality of it. Many of you guys are not even ready or prepared to live in the city, let alone live in a village. All right. And I'm going to tell you, this is from my own personal experience. Many, I've been out here 7.5 years, guys. All right. And like during the COVID years and stuff like that, we looked very seriously into moving to a village and moving out there and doing that stuff. And then when we were out there, just with friends, hey, we're going to stay out there with you guys for a few days, whatever. Right. And when we were out there living that country life, we quickly realized, oh, no, this is not for us, and not for us in these conditions, or at least, with this budget that we got. No. And so we just came back to the city, and we live in the city. We live right next to the center. All right. We're just realistic with it. Now, are we giving up on that dream of one day doing that? No. Of course, now we're not giving up on that dream, but we realized, how much money it was going to take, how much work it was going to take, how much effort, so many things involved, and, a lot of people just don't look into that. A lot of people just, they bright eyes, they got some ideas, they got a few bucks, and they think that it's just going to be like easy and quick. And it's not, and so I've learned that from experience. A lot of you guys have learned that from experience, because I've interviewed a lot of you guys out there. You guys should check out my interviews and people I've talked to, throughout the years that have come out here, with that idea in mind, to come out here, get a piece of land, build on it, yada, yada, yada. And so for some people, it's been very successful. I know people that have done that, but they got a real estate background, or they got a Mexican background, meaning they're Mexican. They know how things run out here. They have experience in the thing. And for them, for the most part, it always works out. But when you're coming out here, you don't speak the language. You don't know the culture. You don't know how things work out here, bureaucracy-wise, and laws and property and all this other stuff, right? And you're not well versed or educated on real estate or building a home or construction or any of this stuff. Like I said, I've seen so many people come out here and just hemorrhage money, lose money, and end up leaving, with their tail between their legs. And so that's the thing, that's what this channel is about. This channel is about realistic expectations, realistic, what you can expect, what you can't expect, what you can expect, and stuff like that. Again, if you got a lot of money in your pocket, yeah, go build your home. I would too. Are you kidding me? But if you're on a budget, or you only got a few bucks, or no, I highly suggest you stay away from that, because it's like anything else. It's not that I'm just speaking from experience of the stuff out here. I was in the restaurant business my whole life. That's what I did. And you know how many restaurants I've seen, be successful and become failures, and how many after, towards the end of my career, I became a consultant, and I would just come into restaurants and I would help them, again, just like that show, Bar Rescue or Kitchen Nightmares, and just because that's the thing, a lot of people are just not prepared. They just have no idea what they're getting into, and before you know it, you're just hemorrhaging money, and there's no more money coming in, or there's not enough money coming in. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's something that I don't recommend to anyone on a budget. I don't recommend to anybody that, hey, Jose, I only got $150,000, and oh, great, buy a house. It's freaking wonderful. Oh, but, I thought that I could build a home, for like, $100,000, and then I'm going to have, yeah, okay, good luck with that. Good. Have fun. Knock yourself out. But again, this is why we're going to go more in depth into all this stuff, okay? I'm not just going to talk about it. I'm going to show you, okay? So these are the things, many things like that I want to really show you guys. Again, a lot of people, it's funny, some people out there that don't know my channel, they'll come at me and be like, oh, Jose, he's always sugarcoating things. I'm like, really? Because I thought I was the guy that didn't sugarcoat nothing, like I just give it to you raw, straight, no chaser. And that's the thing, in recent months, in this past year, I've been making a lot of awesome content that you guys like, but I've been realizing as well that I've kind of, fallen off that, what is it? That's what I used to, that was the original content that I used to make. And for a lot of you guys that, know me or what is it? Like, I've known me for a long time. That's what you guys knew me for. And now more than ever, again, as things are, look, trust me, I see what's going on in the USA, Canada, whatever, but USA, and it's not looking good. It's getting really bad really quickly. And so now is a time for me to just get back to the basics and just show you exactly how I did it. And if I got to do it all over again, just for the purposes of the instructional video-ness, I'll do it. All right. So again, I'm not. Don't be. I'm not. I'm not above. Going out there and also looking for rentals, maybe for one video, just out of craps and giggles. All right. So I can show you what that experience is like in a sense. All right. The realistic experience of it. All right. Not just hiring somebody to help you with blah blah blah. So again, that's the thing. What I did on this channel, what I would focus on this channel, and what I'm going to be focusing on going forward out here is empowering you guys. All right, for you to be able to do it yourself. All right, or for you guys to have as much knowledge as humanly possible, so that when you do hire somebody or you ask somebody for help, well, then you know what to look out for. You know exactly, hey, wait a minute, I know that that's not the right way to do it. Hey, wait a minute, I think you're charging me too much for that. Hey, wait a minute, you know what? I'll just do it myself. I learned from Jose that I can just do this, and that. All right, so that's the thing. That's what we're going to be moving forward. Going, from here on out. And again, a lot of these videos that you're watching, again, these are videos that I've filmed, throughout the years out here. I've been out here over 7.5 years. And, when I got out here, I had nothing. And, now I got stuff. But again, I'm still on a budget. Again, this last month, I only made $1,000 on YouTube. My rent is $650. Am I complaining? Am I out here? Oh, I'm not getting the views. I'm just talking to you guys now because we're talking, all right? Whatever. But no, what am I doing? It's like, okay, no, that we just gotta, fix what's wrong or fix whatever, or, ask you guys, what do you guys want? And that's it. It's really not, it's like any business. It's like anything else. And like at the end of the day, that's my bread and butter. Showing you guys exactly how to do it, how it's done. Look, for example, I just dropped this video yesterday, the one you're watching right now, all right? And I'm showing you guys the top 10 places, the top 10 things you got to do out here in Mérida, Yucatan. The majority of them are free. The majority of them don't cost money. They're very affordable. All right? And so, but how did I learn that, or how did I do? Well, again, by just going out there and doing it and being on a budget myself, and always being on a budget. I don't got money. I don't got a check coming in every month. From there's some people out there that live in Mexico that get disability or get Social Security or get whatever the hell they're getting. I don't got nothing. All right, I gotta work it all myself. And so that's the thing. That's why I got videos on my channel. Again, just going back to the website real quick. All right, we're gonna hold on. I'm gonna put this on pause real quick. All right, let's just get to but just go back to the website. All right, where were we? All right. So right there, the free resources, all right? Right, the second video. Okay, the first video, all right, how to find the rental. Second video, how to find the job, how to find work for those of you guys out there like me that don't have income and you got to make some income. All right, right there, how to find the job. Not just how to find the job. Right there, right at the top. Look, all the way at the top, all the way. Look, I'm pointing at it. Literally, all the way at the top. You see right there, digital nomad jobs. Look at that. Click. There you go. Look, I get it. I get that not everybody's a digital nomad or has the ability to become a digital nomad. That's why I made a video on your other options. But look, long story short, look at this. Look at all the jobs, all the, this stuff for everybody out there, all right? But just going back to the video, in that video on, how to find a job, how to earn money, I tell you guys how to do it. I give you multiple options on how to do it, all right? We're going to be going deeper into that going into next year. All right. So again, please guys, check out my website. All right. For some of you guys out there that would like to hire me, to have a one-on-one consultation, you guys can also do that. You can have a one-on-one video call with me. You can talk to me about anything, ask me anything, and we can do that as well. But check out the website. Again, look, Living in Mérida, helpful resources. Look at all this. Look again, everything you need to know about real estate. You know, if you need an assistant, you know what I mean? You don't want to overpay. You know, there's somebody there. You know, you need glasses. You need a dentist. All right? Whatever. All right? My barber. You know, some of the restaurants I like to go to. Whatever, man. You know, but look, long story short, just check out my websites. Tons of free information. All right, let me read some comments. I see you guys are, you know, talking it up there. Renato Diaz says, yes, we've been looking in Las Americas too, and DTI area, growing modern area, serene out there, taking my family every year for the past 4 years, and they've been yearning to return. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Huey says, if you build a home in Mexico, you will have to be there watching over them every day, making sure that they are doing a good job. That is 1,000% correct. Most people, they just think that they're going to hire some guys and leave and it's going to get built. No, you got to micromanage them to the extreme. All right. But yes, you got to be on top of their ass, you know, otherwise it's not going to get done. They're just going to take the money and say, thank you. Sometimes you might have to fire a crew and rehire a new crew. Oh, man. Yes, many times you got to do that. All right, depending on the situation. Sometimes you get lucky, but most of the time, you're gonna have to do that. And that's another thing too. A lot of people, you get what you pay for. So a lot of people, they just want to hire the cheapest workers possible. All right, and well, again, you get what you pay for. So if you're getting the cheapest workers possible, well, what's going to happen then? Well, then they're not going to be the highest quality workers, and you're going to have to go through them. You know. You're going to have to hire, fire. But why is that? Oh, because the good construction workers, the good architects, the good, you know, the ones that, you know, are awesome, well, they cost money. And a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to spend that money. I'd rather, you know, you're charging me like in the U.S. Hey, listen, man, there's options out here. Go with the cheap option. You know? So that's the thing, too. You know, a lot of people are not prepared for that. It's like, oh, you want a modern home built to the U.S. standards, you know, Oh, okay, yeah, there's people out here that can do that for you, but it's going to cost you money. And those materials also cost. You guys see it. You guys have seen the houses I've shown. I've shown you houses for $50,000, $60,000, and you see with the construction, the build that they are, and you see the homes that are close to $1 million. And you see the quality, you know, of those homes. All right, and the materials and the professionalism and all that stuff. So it's the same thing with everything else. And so a lot of people are just not prepared for that. You know, a lot of people just think that they're gonna, like I mean, again, these are the things that we're gonna be talking going forward on a regular basis. Like, because I used to talk about it more often. But again, a lot of people expect, you know, they'll hire somebody, a plumber. They'll hire a plumber or an electrician for $5 to $10 or $15. To come and fix something in the house, for example, right? And when they show up to the house, they show up in sandals. They maybe have a tiny bag with like a few tools. Many times they're going to ask you to borrow your tools. They're not prepared. They're not, you know, professional. They're you know, sometimes they're looking at a YouTube video as they're doing the thing. And people complain about that. It's like, bro, you're paying the guy $10. You want a real professional, you know, electrician to come to your house, just like, you know, and give you the same treatment as the USA. It's going to cost you like $50. It's still cheaper than the US, all right? Trust me, I know. I got people in the US, all right? So it's still, but it's going to charge you like $50. And people are like, oh, $50, I'm getting gringo price. I'm like, no, you're not. That's just the price for that. All right? And that could go on and on and on. So there's a lot of things. So like, for example, when I first moved out here, you know, I used to hire the cheap, you know, electrician, plumber to fix this, to fix that, whatever. And you know what I ended up just doing? I said, you know what? Because like a lot of times I just do a crappy job. And so at the end of the day, it wasn't even about the money. It was just about the fact that, you know, I would have to fix it myself. I would have to hire another guy. I would have to, so you know what I would do most of the time? I would just, whenever something broke or something went, you know, okay, I would just go online. Get on YouTube, find the video on how to fix the light fixture, how to fix the toilet, how to fix the whatever, and try to fix it myself and just try everything myself. Most of the time, I would be able to fix it. But when I wouldn't be able to fix it, no problem. Then I'll hire somebody that can. That's it. So, But that's, I mean, there's a lot of things like that. You know, a lot of people just don't consider or look into. So I'm not against, you know, building a home. Again, if I had the money, I wish, you know, that's my dream. That's our dream, you know, or me and my wife, you know, we would love to do something like that. But we realize, you know, like, you know, there's a lot of cost overrun. There's a lot of management that goes with it. There's so many things. So like the people that have been very successful, or like I said, the people that have a lot of experience with this. Again, I've done videos. I've done tons of videos. When I used to interview a lot of people out there, and you know, like I got friends Ed and Betty. I did a video with them a couple of years ago, and when they came out here, they started with nothing. All right, you know, meaning, you know, blank slate, and they built a home and they did the whole thing, right? And they were able to do it in a few months. And they were able to do it in a few months simply because, well, she's Mexican from another part of Mexico, and she drove a tight ship. I mean, if you know her personally, you know what's up. But anyway, she was just like, and she had real estate in experience, you know, in Baja, and she had, you know, other homes. So she, I mean, come on, you know, she wasn't messing around. She wasn't effing around. She just, well, they got it done. But I know other people that have come out here and they spent millions of dollars trying to build whatever the hell they're building. And long story short, they end up finish the build and they end up selling and leaving. That means there's a lot of in between. There's a lot of difference. There's a lot of everything. Okay, so yeah, you know, I don't want to keep harping on building a home or whatever, but that's just the thing. You know, you gotta have realistic expectations when moving to Mexico, when moving abroad. All right. And that's the thing, you know, a lot of people is like, oh yeah, I'm going to just live in a village, or I'm just going to live in a little dirt hut, or are you? Are you sure about that? You sure about that? Was it that meme? Remember? Are you sure about that? So, let me see. Mr. Leon says, are there any 3-bedroom homes available in your area similar to that price you are paying, or perhaps at other? Yeah. Again, so again, just to, you know, reiterate, go to my website. Okay. Go to my website right there. All right. You see where it says Mexico General Information? Click there. And then that first video, how to find the affordable rentals, click there. And then those are all the links to some of the websites that have, okay? So, you know, you can start there, you know, on Facebook. You know, there are many places. But yeah, I'm sure, you know, that there are tons of homes all over the place. Again, you know, we already did a quick little search earlier in the live stream. I shared my experience. You know, again, it took several months, you know, for Christian to find this home. She found it on Facebook. All right, and we ran over here to make sure to secure the house because we found a hidden gem. I'm Genaro Diaz. Again, after a long time looking, he found an amazing home similar to the one I live in the north of the city for the same price in a coveted area. So he did better than me. I mean, come on. So, and so on and so forth. So there you go. Let me see. I don't know, Genaro, did you get a agent or did you do it yourself? It's funny, but I was recommended to buy an agent, by a friend of a family member friend, some tolerable contingencies, everything negotiable. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Awesome. Oh, thank you very much. So, oh, thank you, Andres. Oh, I love Mexico, man. Are you kidding me? Viva Mexico. I love Mexico so much. I got a giant flag. By the way, I got to rearrange the studio a little bit here because, you know, a lot of times I sit here and some people are like, "Hey, what do you have an Irish flag behind you?" And I'm not nothing Irish, all right? I'm Cuban and whatever. Anyway, so yeah, I gotta fix the studio a little bit. You know what I mean? So that way, you know, you can see the flag. I might have to take down the flag and move it over or something. I gotta figure that out. But yeah, that's the thing. So, you know, I'm going to take this month, you know, to do a lot of that stuff, all right? But by the way, guys, you know, expect videos. Okay, remember, we have a video on Sunday. I'm going to be doing some home tours with Jose. I got some videos talking about, you know, again, how you can move out here for, again, $1,500 and talking about every aspect of everything, you know, because when you're on a budget, you know, the reality of like when you're on a budget, when it comes to moving to another country that, you know, a lot of people, you know, are always thinking about is residency. And that's the thing. And so, you know, a lot of times people will say, "Oh, Jose, you know, that's all great and wonderful. Okay, that's awesome. You know, you can live out there, for 1,000 or 1,500 a month or 2,000 a month or whatever it is, right? But how am I going to get my residency? So again, we recently did a live stream talking about that, or a video. I'm always talking about that. There are options, and again, not every option's for everybody, but I was able to get my residency. I'm sure you guys can figure it out as well. But that's the thing. What happens is that the less money you got, for example, the less money you got, the less resources you got, the more hard work it's going to be, the more difficult it's going to be. But can you do it? Yeah, of course you can do it. I did it. Many others have done it. All right. In fact, I'm also doing these videos, and I'm going back to square one talking about this stuff, because the reality is that not only are a lot of you guys, looking for a solution and looking to leave and yada yada yada, and you guys know your what is it, like your standards, your limits, your whatever, but there's a lot of Mexicans that are being deported back to Mexico here, and a lot of them don't even speak Spanish. A lot of them are in even more dire situation, because again, imagine that you're deported from the USA at 44 years old, all right, and now you got to come to Mexico. You don't even know the language, and you got to find a job, you got to find a home, you got to find everything, and you got nothing. You just got deported. So look, long story short, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of people in the audience that are in need of all this information that is already on my channel, information that is already on my website, information that is all over, my channels and everything I've been doing throughout the years. But again, things have changed for me as well in all the years that I've been here. And in the last several years, well, things have gotten better for me. And I don't, I just wasn't making videos about budgeting and this and that because of several different situations. And I was doing more adventure. I was doing more videos on like, hey, let's go take an adventure. I was doing more videos on like, hey, let's go to the festival. I was doing more videos on all kinds of things like that I want to do. But the reality is that, a video on a festival is not going to help you, get to Mexico quicker. All right. If anything, it's just going to get you more anxious to get out here. But it's not giving you any information on how to do it. And so that's the thing. I focus. That's what my channel it's always been about, is that. Focusing on that. So again, there's only a few live streams left in the year. Okay? You got to remember, we're already at the end of the year, so we only got a few live streams left. And so with that said, we're just going to wind down the year. You already know how we do here. We only got a few uploads left for the year, things like that. But again, we're already making this change, all right? But going forward in January especially, you're going to expect the change to be not just on this channel, but across all channels. So again, for some of you guys that don't know, I have more than one channel, all right? And, again, right here on my website, you click all the way at the top right there, all right? And hold on, let's get rid of these real quick here. Anyways, and there's my, this is my channel. This is the channel that you're watching this on right now. But I got a few other channels, all right? I got my cooking channel. Again, if you guys want to show me some love, you guys really appreciate me, you guys want to help me out right now, go to my YouTube channel. Sorry, go to my cooking channel. I'm going to give you guys a link here. Go to my cooking channel and go subscribe. Go maybe, watch some videos or whatever. But anyways, we're going to bring this back online. All right, we're going to bring that channel back online, and we're going to be marrying all the channels together. It's going to be some interesting, fun stuff. I can't wait, to show it to you. But long story short, go to the cooking channel. All right, we're going to be doing stuff on that. And then on Unleashed. So on Unleashed, that's for some of you guys already know, on this channel, every single Thursday when I do my live streams on, the Mexico channel, after I'm done, we go over there and we talk about other stuff. All right, we go to my other channel and we do our thing over there. All right, so you guys already know. Some of you guys know. Some of you guys don't know what I do over there. But long story short, this channel is also going to get revamped. We've been doing some experiments with the channel. We've been doing a few things there. But again, like I said, we're going to mix all three together. It's going to be awesome. All right, it's like a little ecosystem. I hope you guys enjoy it. What we got planned for next year. But long story short, this is the last live stream we're going to be doing on this channel for the year. All right, because I need to take a break too. You know what I mean? Like, so I really hope that you guys get to join me over there today. All right, we're going to be going live in about 30 minutes. All right, I know I say 2:15 there, but we're going to go a little. Oh, sorry, I know it says 55 minutes there, but we're going to move that time forward. But we're going to go live over there soon. So we got to talk about more, more of the what's going to happen, the direction of everything, and so on and so forth. Again, not giving too many details, but I know a lot of you guys are interested. For the hardcore fans, I would love to see you guys over there. We need to talk. All right, it's all good stuff. All right, but still a lot of changes, a lot of stuff coming our way. So looking forward to bringing it all to you this upcoming year. All right. But at the end of the day, again, we gotta, the point I'm trying to make here is that, this year's coming to an end. And again, it's been kind of a disastrous last couple months. It's been a little bit of a slow month or two. So I'm just gonna take the opportunity to, take a little bit of a break. So that means I'm not gonna be on Unleashed over there, but I am gonna be, still making videos for this channel. And again, just getting everything ready for 2026 so we can come, guns a-blazing, hit the ground running, and I'm going to provide you guys with tons of useful information, tons of entertainment, tons of everything. All right, so man, I can't wait to bring it all to you. And like I said, I'm showing you skills. That's what I like to do. On all these channels. Give you information, but skills. More than anything else. That's what I used to, be awesome at. That used to be my thing. Is again, teaching people skills, whatever those skills are. So in this case, it's going to be survival skills on moving to Mexico, all kinds of skills. We're going to have, obviously we're going to be teaching stuff on the cooking channel, right? And then on Unleashed, well, I'll leave that one for a surprise. Again, we'll talk more about that in the next live stream. Okay. So again, I left a link there. I hope to see you guys there in a few minutes. All right, when we go live over there, as soon as we're done over here. Oh, thank you, Moondog. I really appreciate that. Muchas gracias. No, I mean, again, I appreciate the love. I appreciate, everything you guys give me all the time. But at the end of the day, it's like anything else. You know what I mean? We can't just be doing the same thing over and over again, right? We can't just be doing the same kind of stuff all the time. We got to move with the times. We gotta. What is it like? Learn to reinvent yourself, or learn to read the room. I guess. You know what I mean? So look, long story short, that's the thing. I'm focusing on, what you guys need the most. That's it. I mean, it's a straight up. So that's what we're going to be doing on all the channels. All right. And that's what I want to continue doing, because that's what I love to do. I love to empower you guys and teach you guys and give you guys every single tool you need, to succeed in life, to succeed in moving to Mexico, to succeed in, making some food at home or whatever it is we're going to be doing. So, I've already made magic brownies on the channel. Again, if you go to the cooking channel, you do some deep diving. I've already done, magic brownies, and all that stuff. So I've done it all. So yeah, like on the cooking channel, I used to go live. I used to cook a whole meal live on the air for you guys. Now we're not going to do that. We might do that, in the future, for a little bit, but we're not going to do that. We're going to do other kinds of videos on the cooking channel. And like I said, we're going to mix it all together. You'll see. I mean, I do cooking here at home regularly, right? So why not, just mix it all together and give you guys something brand new to look forward to. And again, not just the cooking channel, on this channel as well, on the Mexico channel, all right? You're going to see how we're going to mix it all together, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. And again, just also providing tons of useful information and tons of other stuff like that. So, let me see. Daryl says, hi there from Canada. We're coming down there next year to check out Progresso for the first time. Awesome. Thanks for your information. We do appreciate your time. Oh, muchas gracias. Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys as well. Happy holidays to all of you guys as well. So, by the way, like I said, we got a few more live streams left in the year. I think that this year, in fact, let me look at the calendar real quick just to make sure we're on the right page here. But yeah, see, look, the 25th of December, Christmas Day is a Thursday. So I'm most likely probably not going to go live. And then New Year's Day, the 1st of January, I don't know if I'm going to go live or not. We'll see. Depends on how hungover I am, right? But again, I don't know. Would you guys like a January 1st live stream? Let me know. All right. But I'm probably going to skip those 2 weeks, But we will be here on the 11th and the 18th, all right? Meaning next Thursday and the following Thursday we'll be around, all right? So, oh, there you go. Pedro. Pedro's been around since my early days. You know, we got Pedro says, thanks for your thoughtful and comprehensive videos. Appreciate your candor, honesty, and sense of humor. Muchas gracias. Thank you. Man, sorry about the footage there. I don't know why it's freezing up. Anyways, shout out to all you guys out there. Thank you so much. So Humberto says, when he first visited, he stayed in an Airbnb, and he would go to the corner store and became friends with the owner of the store. And I told him he was looking for a place to rent, and that's how I got the house. Oh, awesome. That's wonderful. That's how you got the $100 house. There you go. Yeah. That's wonderful. Genaro Diaz says, as a chef, you should do a special location, reflections, restaurant business, etc., emphasizing their best dishes or what the located. Yeah, I got some things in the works. Not that per se. I mean, but you never know. You never know what what will materialize going forward. But long story short, like I said, I already got some plans. I already got some things that we're going to be working on, and then obviously we'll expand into that. But again, I've done a few videos like that, Genaro Diaz. So just please, check those out. I've done a few videos. In fact, I'll show you where those videos are so you guys can see them. So on my website, all right. So look, on my website, go to Living in Merida. Living in Merida, useful links, hints, whatever. Anyways, you go all the way to the bottom. And I've done a few videos like that, okay? So, what is it like? I got to do a new one with my friend at the DeLorean. But look, long story short, I did one with La Sicilia and Zinc. All right. And so long story short, I went, I interviewed them, showed the restaurant, showed some food, all that stuff. Okay. So, I would love to do more of those. Okay. So 100%. But yeah, I've already done things like that. And, but that's not what I'm talking about. Like I said, I got to be vague. I don't want to ruin any surprises, but wait till you see what I got. Man, I just realized I'm wearing the same shirt in both of those videos. Ay.
Bruh.
Awesome. Yes. And by the way, as you guys already know from watching my channels and everything I do here, a lot of the stuff that I do is very interactive. So you'll see. Like I said, it's going to be stuff that you guys will be able to interact with me and so on and so forth. So, it's going to be cool. It's going to be interesting. Like, in fact, I wish I could just tell you already, but I can't. I got to wait for the right time to drop it all. But again, it's coming. Like I said, I got to, put the finishing. Well, I got to still build it and all this other stuff. I got a lot of stuff to do, a lot of work this December. So, let me see. Oh yeah, Max says, Jose, are you able to travel internationally? Have you considered moving elsewhere? Yeah, I can travel wherever I want. I recently renewed my U.S. passport. I can travel. But the thing is that, I don't know if you guys are aware. I don't know if you're aware of this, Max, but you need money to travel. And I keep telling you guys, what my budget is, what I made this month. I made $1,000 this last month. You know what I mean? So it's not, and I got bills to pay. Which I showed you what the bills are. So, yeah, I've traveled. You know what I mean? I've traveled before. When I had to get my visa renewed 7 years ago, I went to Cuba. Throughout the years, I've traveled to other parts of Mexico. If I had more money, I would love to travel to anywhere, But, yeah, it costs money. We just don't have money to travel. And have I considered living anywhere else? No, not really. I'm happy here. And the thing is, remember, I married a Mexican, and she is from here, and this is where she wants to be. And for me, I love it here because, again, I am originally from Miami, Florida, and there's a lot of similarities to what I grew up in to how I live my life out here. So, look, the reality is like I'm not going to go to Thailand. I'm not going to get the same thing. I'm not going to go to Costa Rica. I'm not going to get the same thing. It's just not the same. There's a lot of Cuban influence out here. There's a lot of, the weather's very similar. I'm close to home. My family in Miami, whatever. My wife is from here, loves it out here. So, there's a lot of things, So that's why I love it here. Now, I'm open to travel the world. Yeah, 100%. Me and the wife would love to visit anywhere, everywhere. But as of now, it's not in the plans because of the budget constraints. And as of moving anywhere else, not really. I don't plan on living anywhere else anytime soon. Again, we considered, I think I talked to you guys about this in the past. We considered moving to Guadalajara years ago. But the reality is that the reason we haven't is because, like I said, when we started to research, the move and doing all that stuff, we just realized, yeah, we just like it here. I mean, look, right now, during the winter, for a lot of you guys, it's still hot. But for us, it gets a little cold, and that's enough. That was enough. Just like the little cold 65-degree weather is enough to, like, yeah, I don't want to move anywhere else that's colder. All right? I'd rather be hot than cold. So, yeah, I mean, this is home. It's just, it is what it is. So, at this point, it's just I'm digging in my heels. I've already set up a nice foundation and roots out here. So, it is what it is. Oh, thank you, Renato Diaz, so much for the $10 super chat. Muchas gracias. Thank you. Sí. Definitely going to use that to get me some tortas. All right, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Hold on, where's the... Man, I got my... There it is. Anyways. Stealth Brit says, thanks for all your invaluable knowledge that you pass along. We are spending a month in Mazatlan, leaving on December 31st for an explio. That's awesome. Hey, man, hope you guys, thank you so much for the kind words. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I hope you enjoy your stay in Mazatlan. Moondog says Belize. I mean, I'll go visit Belize, but why would I go live in Belize? I mean, look what happened to John McAfee. You know what I mean? So I'm not, I'm okay. And by the way, I mean, I've heard a lot of horror stories. I even have a friend of mine that had a not so good experience out there with business and stuff like that in Belize. So, I mean, sure, I'll go visit Belize, but why would I move to Belize? You know what I mean? Remember, I speak fluent Spanish, so for me, this is fine. I'm not, I don't need to be surrounded by people speaking English. If you do, then you can go to Belize. People love Belize. But, for me, I like it here. There's something about this region that I really like. The longer I'm here, the more I love it. So, sorry, cat on the keyboard. No worries. Oh, explore. Oh, awesome. Yeah, I hope you enjoy your exploratory trip, Stealth. Max says, how's your other channel doing, Jose Unleash? You trying to scale up your YouTube gig? Oh yeah, the other channel's doing great. I mean, that's the thing. And so it's not upscale. I mean, it's just like anything else. It's just continual growth. I've been doing this in October, it's been 10 years since I've been on YouTube. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking to grow everything I'm doing. But, when this is a creative thing that I do, anyone that makes videos, it's a creative thing, like you're making music, like you're making art. Again, I know a lot of people would argue whether what I do is artistic or not, but that's not the point. The point is that it takes, a lot of work and effort. And just like anything else, it's like you gotta, change with the times. When you're listening to your favorite musical artist, they don't always make the same album. They're always reinventing themselves. When you're watching your TV show, it changes. All these things change. So it's the same thing. I'm looking, to keep myself entertained and keep enjoying what I do. Also, make sure that I'm constantly providing value to you guys and continuously, just continuing doing what I do. And sometimes it's like anything else. You know how it is. Like when you're just doing the same thing over and over again, eventually, you start straying off from, the original task. And before you know it, you strayed off too far off the reservation, and then you're going to just have to make your way back. So that's it. That's not a big deal. Like it's, we're still making all the same kind of content we're making, but it's just that it's time to grow. It's time for something different. It's time for a change. Mostly personally for me, just because, and so, but while I do that, you guys will be coming along for the ride. And along that, along, the ride. You guys are also going to hopefully, be entertained or learn something or both or whatever. You know what I mean? So that's all it is. You know what I mean? It's just really more of that, you know what I mean? Because it's like anything else. I don't want, what I do to get stale. I want to continue, when I wake up in the morning, when I show up to do these videos or live streams, that I want to do it, that I'm going to be in a good mood, that I'm going to be, that I want to show up to work. You follow me? That I want to do, that I love what I do. And that's it. It's all, it's all relative, right? At the end of the day, it's, it's an experience. This whole thing that we're doing with YouTube is a brand new thing as well. I mean, how crazy is it that I get to talk to you guys? We're talking right now live. This is unheard of 15 years ago. So, Usain Bolt says, Unsilent Bob, sorry. Unsilent Bob says, Belize has very limited infrastructure, slow internet speeds, no Amazon Prime, and you have to wait a month before a shipping facilitator will send it to your Belize address. No thanks. Oh, there you go. Yeah. So yeah, I got Amazon here. I got everything here. So I got no worries there. But yeah, one day, eventually I'll visit Belize one day. Why not? So I'd love to visit a lot of Central American countries and South American, just Latin American countries. I want to visit. So, but anyways, all right, guys, we're going to wrap this bad boy up so that we can get ready for the next show. We're going to be going live over there in about 30 minutes, give or take. All right, so I'll see you guys there shortly. Again, we got more stuff to talk about, and looking forward to talking to you guys about it over there. And that's it. So yeah, the one perk from Belize is that it's English. It speaks English over there, so that's good. So, all right, guys. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. And, I hope today's video was, pretty good video. We were talking about, Mexico still affordable. I know we did that for a bit, and then we, again, straight off the beaten path. But I think we covered a lot there, and what we're going to be doing going forward and things like that. So I really hope to see you guys here next week on Sunday, and see you guys here, for the remainder of the year. Again, we still got a few weeks left before we, officially take a little mini vacation. Again, I'll have some videos for you guys and stuff, in the meantime. But regardless, all right, let's get over to the Unleashed. We're about to go live in about 30 minutes, and we got the last episode of the year over there. And we're gonna, we just need to talk. We got things to talk about. That picture that you guys see right there in the background, I took that picture. All right, back when I was in LA. In fact, here, let me show you this other picture here. Look at that. Look at that. Who's that guy? Who's that? So look, that's me. About 2017. So that's in 2017. I think I was like 36 there. Taking a picture of downtown LA, hanging out with my friend. And yeah, there we go. Anyways, and so that's one of the pictures that I took a long time ago, back when I was doing photography and stuff. And but look, that was like it was a bum living on the beach, beach bum. And then, just while everything else was going on in the background, beautiful sunset, beautiful everything. And but anyways, like I said, we got more to talk about. So we'll talk more about that and other stuff on the channel. So anyways, guys, I'll see you guys there in about 30 minutes. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Again, like I said, I'll see you guys here on Sunday. If you haven't already, please, all right? If you haven't already, where was it? If you haven't already seen the video that I dropped recently, please go check it out. Okay, right here, the top 10. All right, right here, see it? The top 10 best things to do in Merida. Go check it out. I think you guys will thoroughly enjoy it. Again, for anyone out there wanting to come to visit, all right, please check it out. All right, or if you already live here, or if you're gonna move out here, check it out. Okay, because this is what you can expect out of life out here. This is why I love living out here. All right. Well, 10 of the main reasons. 10 of the reasons I love living out here. So, all right, guys. Thanks again for watching. Thanks again for hanging out with me today. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. You already know the deal. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to please like, please subscribe, please share, please hit the bell icon. But more importantly than anything else, please stay awesome. Thanks again for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you guys on the next one. See you guys on Unleashed. Bye, guys. Laters.